Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, this guy. Pretty much everyone knows this face. It's Mark Cuban, the real beneficiary of the dot-com bubble, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, yada yada yada. We've all seen and heard Mark Cuban. He's been on top of the world for a long time on our TV screens for a while, but it seems like something happened to Mark. I don't know exactly what it is, I don't know how to explain it, but either this guy has been totally compromised, and he's now a total asset for the DNC, or, frankly, he's just dumb. I mean, what other possible explanation could there be for this behavior? I mean, this guy in a way is reminding me of Winston from 1984. It's almost as if he's been taken to the back room and forced into believing contradictory facts. You know, a real 2 + 2 = 5 situation. Mark Cuban is arguing that Kamala Harris is the right person for the economy. She's 100% pro-business, while at the same time essentially admitting that her policies would, quote, destroy the stock market. This guy's been freaking MK Ultra'd. It's a real fascinating thing to witness. Let me show you guys this high-rank hypocrisy. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So let's first start off with this clip. Mark Cuban weighs in on Kamala Harris's proposal for small businesses, where he claims she's, quote, 100% pro-business and moving to the center, and that she's working to make the lives of entrepreneurs just that much better.
Kamala Harris is pro-business. This is Kamala Harris's campaign. It's not Joe Biden's campaign, right? Kamala Harris is not Joe Biden. They're very, very different. She's trying to be, again, this is my perspective, she's trying to be very respectful of the president and everything he's proposed. She's trying not to directly contradict him in any way. You know, so she talks a little bit around the subject when it comes to taxing in particular, but she's going center 100%. I mean, literally, if you read the transcript of her speech yesterday, she's talked more about entrepreneurs and helping them have access to investment and making it easier for people to invest in startups than any president that I've ever heard talk about startups and entrepreneurs.
What are the kinds of people you think she's ultimately going to appoint to her cabinet and around her? And I'm thinking of a Treasury Secretary. I'm thinking of,
I have no idea.
Folks who are going to run commerce. But I think it's an important question. I think it's a question about who's going to run the FTC, who's going to run antitrust for the DOJ. I mean, do you get a sense, and I think one of the critiques has been that the Biden administration did not surround itself with virtually anybody from the private sector.
Right. I agree with you 100%. So two things. One, I told her team, look, put my name in for the SEC. It needs to change. And two, that I've strongly suggested that she put together a multi-level business advisory group. And they said, once we get past the debate, it's something we're going to look very strongly at.
A very weird argument. At one point, I think, honestly, he kind of revealed his intention. He's looking for a cabinet position. That alone instantly discredits everything that he says, but holy frickin' moly, just the contradictory sort of theme going on here. Kamala Harris is pro-business, but Kamala Harris is also supporting an increase to the capital gains tax. She claims that she's supposedly pro-business all of a sudden because she's moving to the center. She's moving away from Joe Biden's, I think, 40+% capital gains tax suggestion and bringing it within the realm of, I think, 28%. The initial Joe Biden proposal was a 44.6% capital gains tax, which, by the way, Kamala Harris totally endorsed and has supported since day one. But then, of course, investors panicked, and so she dropped it down to 28%. And now apparently she's so pro-business because she's listening to entrepreneurs. I mean, freaking really? Pro-business Mark Cuban, pro-little guy, being able to pick themselves up by their bootstraps, is arguing that the candidate that you should vote for is the one who wants to increase the capital gains tax to 28%. That is insane. If we take a look at the current numbers, net capital gains tax are taxed at a different rate depending on overall taxable income. Although some or all net capital gains may be taxed at a 0%, for taxable years beginning in 2023, the taxable rate, or rather the tax rate on most net capital gain, is no higher than 15% for most individuals. Well, no biggie, totally pro-business. They just want to essentially double the capital gains tax. That is insane. And he argues that this is a good thing. She's the best for the the economy because she wants to tax people and businesses into oblivion, but at least she's not as hardcore as Joe Biden is. And Mark Cuban's logic is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's just, well, trust me, bro. I don't know who she's going to include in her cabinet or who's going to be in charge of this stuff or whether we could really trust her at all, but, I get a good feeling and I want a position in her next administration. And so, bro, just trust me, bro. Kamala's good for business. Holy frickin' moly, I'm losing IQ points. This guy's a billionaire. This guy's apparently so frickin' smart. What a business savvy guy. I hate to say this stuff because, frankly, I take offense when people suggest this while targeting successful people where they say, well, they just got lucky. But holy frickin' moly, how did this guy manage to become a household name in the world of business and entrepreneurship? Either Mark Cuban got lucky and he's really just dumb, or Mark Cuban already made his money and now he just wants to schmooze and booze with the elites, and so he's essentially willing to do their bidding because it won't really affect him. How utterly unbelievable and reprehensible. And like I said earlier, it feels like 1984 doublespeak. War is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength. The guy is totally contradicting himself. He just made the argument, and a horrible, poor argument at that Kamala Harris is pro-business and the entrepreneur's pick, but then in the same interview, he also said this.
There's a whole bunch of folks in the Valley who I've been in touch with in the past week on this unrealized tax issue, gain issue, and where we've talked about, those who are taking loans against their unrealized stock, et cetera, et cetera. And then they say, well, if you start to tax that, we won't be able to make investments in startups. We won't be able to give money over to venture capitalists and private equity folks and other things like that. What's your feedback to that distinction? Because I wonder, once there's a critique of one, then of one policy, and you get rid of that policy, then of course it moves to the critique of the next version of it.
Well, of course, but okay. So what I told him was, if you tax unrealized gains, you're going to kill the stock market, right? And it's going to be the ultimate employment plan for private equity. I can't repeat it enough. Even though she's not directly conflicting the Biden tax plan, to her value proposition is we need to tax everybody fairly. I'm starting from the Biden plan as a starting point, but that's not necessarily her ending
Mark,
point.
let me just say, I appreciate you calling in, telling us what you're hearing on these fronts. That's great. But as you've said yourself, you can't speak for the vice president. These are things they're telling you. Who knows what they're telling other people? My guess is they're telling anybody who's donating to them exactly what they want to hear at this point. What matters is what they say publicly and what they will stick to.
No, absolutely, positively not. Right. Let me just be very clear.
I don't know. Why do you think that they're telling you the truth and not telling other people other things?
Well,
if they won't say it publicly, say it publicly. Tell all of us so that we can hold you to it.
I get it, but you've got to get the details right. You can't just...
Yeah, but we have 60 days till an election. Like, you're asking people to take a flyer.
Even if it's the day before the election, right? Even if it's the day before. Look, the next question is, the second thing I was going to mention earlier.
I just don't want everybody to trade on what we think and what we feel and what we think may happen.
Exactly.
Just tell us.
Quote, if you tax unrealized gains, you're going to kill the stock market. It's unbelievable. You have people who are now defending extreme socialist-style taxation policies as pro-business, logical policy. I've never seen anything like it in the people at CNBC, honestly. They're not really saying it, but you could tell in their general demeanor, they seem totally flabbergasted. I'll tell you one thing, I'm flabbergasted. Here's a place I never thought we would reach, an environment where people are defending this kind of policy. It's not just Mark Cuban, it's the rest of these commie propagandists. We've got Trevor Noah giving his take. As we know, Trevor Noah is a beacon, a bastion of financial knowledge. You can sense the sarcasm in my voice. The guy's financial literacy probably ends at the concept of a piggy bank.
People argue that you cannot tax billionaires on the shares that they hold in a company because it is an unrealized gain, right? So they go like, yeah, you're worth 300 billion, but we can't tax you on those stocks because you haven't sold the shares. So you don't have the money, right? But you're worth the money, but you don't have the money. And I understand the argument. They go like, no, you don't have it. It's just what it's worth because it could also crash and then you have nothing. So we can't tax you on it. Then I'm like, okay, I understand that. So you can't tax the people on a thing because they don't have it. It's just there. Okay, fine. Then Elon Musk offers to buy Twitter. And then he says in his offer, he goes, I'm putting up my Tesla stock as collateral. Then I'm like, so you do have it? Then he's like, no, I don't have it. I'm just going to say as collateral. So then they accept the offer. He now buys Twitter. Now that they've accepted his offer, he now goes to private equity and banks and other rich people and whatever. He goes like, can you guys borrow me the money to buy Twitter? And then he's like, I want to buy Twitter because I don't want to sell any of my Tesla shares. So I want to use your money to buy Twitter. And then it's like, but then they're like, what are we loaning it against? And he's like, well, my Tesla shares. Then I'm going like, wait. So you can buy a thing based on what you have. Yes. But when we want to tax you, you can say, I don't have it.
Can I get a face palm, please? I mean, these are the people who are going to be in charge of economic policy. I mean, not literally Trevor Noah, but people who believe the same kind of thing and are making the same kind of bogus arguments. We saw a similar argument back on CNBC not too long ago, where one of Kamala Harris's campaign surrogates that compared a tax on unrealized stock gains to paying a homeowner's tax on the property that you own, or rather a property tax. It's just so incredibly stupid and economically illiterate. Trevor Noah's argument that taxing unrealized gains is good policy because wealthy people use their stock holdings as collateral for loans is fundamentally flawed and a gross oversimplification of how both taxation and wealth management work. Taxing unrealized gains is essentially taxing theoretical income, money that hasn't even been received yet or liquidated. And there's not even a guarantee that that money or that theoretical value will even exist in the future. An unrealized gain is just that, it's unrealized. It's the increase in the value of an asset that hasn't been sold yet. Now, of course, wealthy individuals may use their stock holdings as collateral for loans, but that doesn't mean that those stocks have been converted into cash. Collateral is a way to leverage existing assets, not actual income, in a way to secure the individual or the bank giving you a loan. So if things go bad, at least they got something to fall on. You know, let's say you weren't able to make good on that loan and you had your stock portfolio, or let's say your home, a physical or stock asset that you owned that you put up as collateral. Well, then once the thing that you're doing would go bad, you would have to actually sell that stock in order to reimburse the bank. And in some cases, the value of what you initially put as collateral might be down, and so the bank might even not be able to recover all of it. It's theoretical value. There's no transaction. You haven't made the income to be taxed on. These are very simple concepts, and we're talking about rich, successful people. Trevor Noah is a multi-millionaire. Mark Cuban's a billionaire. These people should understand these basic concepts. So again, it brings me right back to the same point. Are they stupid? Or are they just communist propagandists doing the bidding of the regime? I don't know. Make your own opinion. All I know is this stuff is beyond frickin' stupid. Economic illiterate nonsense. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got. The concepts mostly speak for themselves. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.